Gosh, it really wants me to do it. It doesn't. Why is... There we go. New subscriber, Outriders Demo WRTP. Interesting. Interesting channel. Just non-copyrighted music. Kind of interesting. That's good. All right, here we go. All right, what do I do?
affordable payment plans for any major procedure. Potentially terminal illnesses won't wait until payday, should you?
I promise to do no harm.
Welcome to the Circus of Value! Welcome to the Circus of Value!
I don't want to hurt you, but sometimes I have.
To the Circus of Value!
I am trying to think here. Nurse, help me to find this patient, nurse. Quick, someone shut that door! Tear out the stitches! Why are you dragging out your treatment?
Today I had lunch with the goddess. Steinman, she said. I'm here to free you from the tyranny of the commonplace. I'm here to show you a new kind of beauty. I asked her, what do you mean, goddess? Symmetry, dear Steinman. It's time to learn about symmetry.
What can I do with this one, Aphrodite? She won't stay still! I want to make them beautiful, but they always turn out wrong! That one too fat! This one too tall! This one too symmetrical! And now, what's this, guys? An intruder! He is ugly! 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 Stop drowning me!
You alright? It was time somebody took care of that sick bastard. Make sure you get the key off Stuyvesant and head back to emergency access. I'm working my way to the backside of Port Neptune myself. We'll get there soon enough.
Oh, come on. All that for that.
What's the matter, Frank?
Sounds like another tunnel collapse. Welcome to Rapture, the world's fastest growing boiler choke. It's a little one. Here's your chance to get some Adam.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to
Hey,
get by.
Alex.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
It's okay, lad. That's not a child, not anymore, eh? Dr. Tenenbaum saw to that.
Bitte, do not hurt her! Hurry, Lord.
Aye, that's a pretty sermon coming from the ghoul who cooked up them creatures in the first place. Took fine little girls and turned them into that, didn't you? Listen to me, boyo. You won't survive without the antidotes. Things are carrying. Are you prepared to trade your life, the lives of my wife and child, for 10 pounds of Frankenstein?
Here! There is another. Use this. Free them from their torment. I will make it to be worth your while. Somehow.
She harvester your maximum animals by no plasmas, but she wants to process it. You're going to get less at them, but come back as promised to make one lion. Good ending, Herman's bad ending.
Thank you.
The path of the righteous is not always easy, yes. The reward will become clear in time. Be patient.
Time for a nap,
Tenenbaum's playing you for a sap. Those things may look like wee little girls, but looks don't make it so. You need all the Adam you can get to survive. If you cross paths with another of them, gather scans machines. Make sure you can bring your partner too. That's if the price ain't too dear, of course.
See the flowers we are raising.
Access, which
You're ready now. Don't have to go with it. Don't be easy. Are you almost back to emergency access? Come through as soon as you get there. You got Orion's eye now. You won't hear them coming, but it'll be there before you know it.
Welcome to the Circus of Value!
Why do these things going up?
Security alert deactivated. Thank you for your patience.
I don't know how you managed it, but you did. Come through to Port Neptune now. I'm looking forward to shaking your hand. Now you had the pleasure of Andrew Ryan's company. He's the one who built this place, and he's the one who ran it into the ground. Nobody knows exactly what happened. Maybe he went mad. Maybe the power got to him. Maybe he just decided he didn't like people. Whichever way you slice it, good men died. My family's in a submarine hidden in the foundation of Fontaine Fisheries. I'll meet you there.
Welcome Kill your cravings at the Circus of Value!
Nah. I fell!
I'm just lonely. I'm lonely. This isn't over. Come on.
Throw objects at foes. You can even catch grenades and throw them back.
One day, the gentleman stopped calling.
Atlas radioed on ahead. Says you're looking for an invite to the fisheries. Nuts, I say. But if your heads up to the Warp Master's office and find old Peach on research camera, maybe I could manage an invite. What was that? My friend, you are fucked.
Are you? My rose! I want it back! I want it back!
Look on the you'll find something to keep you alive. Now, go get that camera, and then snapshots of those that are seeing. Then, I'll let you into the fisheries. Just remember, sonny friend, I smoke an ounce of Fontaine on you, and I'll have you in a box. Atlas gives you the vouch, but I ain't turning my eye just on his say-so.
Of course, it's all the other side of it. Okay.
Grown man jumping at ghosts. Fontaine's dead. Everybody knows it. In the ground for months, and half the place still jumping at his shadow. Christ, even Ryan. You never mind all that. We got work to do. Seems like old Peach knows where to find a research camera. Seems a decent enough sort. No doubt he'll wait until after you've done his errands to stick a shiv in your belly.
Help me, Madonna! Help me find this
How's the game running for you guys? The game audio good? How's the picture quality? Let me know in the chat if you guys watch live. If you guys are watching the video live, if you guys are doing so. Chat's open if you guys are subbed over for 5 minutes. Down there, just put in the funky breakfast
He's gonna die! He's gonna die!
don't know what has happened to you. Ryan's men have taken you away and said you are needed to save Rapshas. Who needs a child to save a city? But I see these little girls crawling out of these vents, and I only wonder if you might one day crawl out of this vent and find this note. We look for you, but if you find this, come to us at the Fighting McDonald's in room number 7. The code to our room is 7533. We miss you, my darling.
Fontaine fellow. Once he was just a menace to be convicted and hung. But he always manages to be where the evidence isn't. He's the most dangerous type of hoodlum. The kind with vision.
There's no way to get to it. Whatever. Moving on.
The research camera looks just like one you'd see topside. According to this magazine article I scrounged up, it can also analyze genetic information, parse biological structures, like some other $5 words.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones. To him belong, there are we
Now give me some snaps on those spider splicers, and don't come back down here till you've got my research.
I traded you all over for them.
Good for you.
I wore it for you.
Policeman, fix the show! I'm just lonely and I'm lonely!
Oh, I gotta throw down other things.
Welcome to the Circus of Value.
Are you here to...
Diane, my dear, I'm sorry, but I'll be late again tonight. Rosenberg is demanding to speak about this Fontaine business. I'm trying to build a proper financial market, and this idiot keeps going on about none of this, genetic modification, that. I'll go spend an hour pretending to pay attention to the poor fellow and be home as soon as I can.
I send you pestilence! This is the wages of sin!
Are you ever plain old peach them snappies? Or are you just sightseeing?
By myself, goddammit! Lisa! You thief! Get over here!
The code is. Take photos of the ones that climb things.
Even miles underwater.
Oh, I hate these puzzles. Take photos. I don't know what that means.
Here to visit this scum of the earth!
That thing?
hiding in that filthy submarine makes me blood boil. Help me get them to safety, and I'll be in your debt for life.
Rapture's changing, but Ryan can't see the walls in the woods. This Fontaine fella, he's a crook and a prophet. He's got the atom, and that makes him the governor. He's sinking the profits back into bigger and better treasuries, building them Fontaine powerhouses, Fontaine recruiting centres. Oh yeah, I'm just going to have an army of splicers. We're going to have ourselves a whole heap of miseries.
Nothing to do. Forget it. Not worth it. That's just irritating hard to kept this game is all like just having it safe. No, I'm good. Really? That's all that was? Dulu?
Is this it?
Welcome to the Circus of Value! Feel your cravings in the Circus of Welcome to the Circus of Value!
Very good, I guess. I got a phone call. Let's resume.
Well, listen to me.
We tricked you, monster.
Head on back to Fontaine Fisheries when you're ready, would you kindly?
Sword.
I observe all of his commandments. All his commandments. Observe all his commandments.
Your wife, Moira, she's got a pain in the neck. But she's a beauty. I can't help feel God's punishing me for bringing her back. I thought this would be a better life for us. Can you imagine a bigger fool than that?
What's wrong with you, Mr. B? No.
You have shown kindness to my little one, but are you really a friend to us? Regardless, a little one brings you a gift to demonstrate our appreciation.
Oh, this way.
Cry out for Big Daddy's help. Make him think you're a little sister. Watch as he fights to protect you.
search them up right. Come on in and show us those snappies. himself at? You got something for me and my crew? Or are you just looking to get criticized? You set here a spell. I needs to set on some coffee. Maybe put on silverware and the like.
Before you head into the fisheries, a word to the wise. Old Peachy seems about as straight as a dog's hind leg. You keep your eyes open.
Nobody walks into my swampy carrying I eat. Put your weapons in the pneumo, and then I'll let you in.
If that's his price, you're gonna have to pay it. But he can't very well take your plasma away, can he?
love how at least fire has like a lot of times a lot of RPGs that just give you stuff and saying, hey, they can give you rather than do anything.
Every goddamn
Fontaine's putting the sport on us and double. He's squeezing us out of 80 points of our cut with the threat of turning us into Ryan if we don't play ball. Son of a bitch. Sammy G comes and tells me he's thinking of going to the constable. And the next day, Sammy G was found in a sack in a salt pond. We had no choice here. We stay on Fontaine's crew and we're gonna catch the gallows. We take the powder and we end up like Sammy G. Oh, there's gotta be another way.
I don't know why, but YouTube's got it where there's a delay, so... Is it in this room? Right on the floor. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Doesn't it? A weapon upgrade. That's not... I get to pick this one. Machine will be disabled after it's acquired. Okay, so I get to pick one. What should I go for? Shotgun seems to be the most powerful, you know. Besides their pistol. Do like your average thing. Thank you, Alex, for helping me find it. Shotgun. I'm gonna go with. We'll go with rate of fire. I'm completely forgot you actually could upgrade your weapons. That's a really nice thing.
You can't win. Fontaine will find you. Hey, fuck Fontaine. You fuck Fontaine. Fontaine fucks you.
Unlocked an episode of the director's commentary. Play it now, review later. Spoiler in the commentary contains those kinds of plot details, including the ending. First-time players may wish to complete the game.
One of the biggest challenges Irrational faced when developing Bioshock was figuring out a way to retain the feeling of a deep RPG while making the game accessible to a broader console audience. Ultimately, the team succeeded in creating an intricate system of weapon and character upgrades that gave the player choice and customization while keeping the gameplay fast, lean, and engaging. One of the hallmarks of Bioshock, to me at least, was that it really blended RPG and sort of first-person action game together in a way that, is sort of standard today, but a decade ago was really pretty revolutionary. And I know for the team, I think at some point it became clear that you wanted this to work on consoles, not on PC, right?
Well, both, yeah.
Yeah. But so the idea of, doing a console game and a PC game, and doing something that sort of felt like a shooter but had much more depth. And I know in some of the early design docs you talked about sort of creating an FPS plus versus an RPG light. What was the difference in your mind between those two?
I think for us is the big difference between System Shock and Bioshock ended up being that System Shock was more about your character growth and Bioshock was more about the environment. Because with System Shock, we really didn't have System Shock 2. We didn't really have the either the art team to make enough assets or the visual power to sort of make a really convincing environment. But as we started working on Bioshock, the art team was so strong that the ability to tell a story within the environment became the most important thing about the game. And that was sort of not something we thought right at the beginning. That was not really a concept we had. But as we started building things, we could realize that the visual world was the star of this thing. The Rapture was really the star of this thing. And telling the story outside of cutscenes, telling it in the world, so the gamer could discover the story rather than us telling him the story, telling him or her the story. It was still very much for the time, I think for the time, quite different than what you had seen in terms of there wasn't a lot of growth in shooters. So It was still, I think, for the time, very, very revolutionary. But I think System Shock 2 was even more ahead of its time in terms of that growth thing, because we defocused a little bit. Primarily, part of it was just figuring out how to do that all on a console controller was very tricky.
I remember even the early demos, people like, you see a plasma, you see like a upgraded weapon, people are like, oh, I've never seen that before in a shooter. And that was, when you were coming out of the sort of, the Quake, Doom, Half-Life, where it's like you have, 8 weapons on the keyboard and you sort of knew what they were and they weren't going to change. Yeah. Sean, was that something that, from a sort of creative standpoint, was it always clear that that was something you guys wanted to do, or it evolved over time because you wanted to have more depth in the game?
I mean, it certainly evolved over time, and each upgrade path was slightly had its own unique challenges. Like certainly upgrading the weapons, you had to design a base weapon that didn't feel like crap. Still felt like something that you wanted to use, but then the ability to add the upgrades to that, and each of the upgrades could come in any order, so you have to be aware that this, parts A, B, and C could come in at any different time to upgrade the weapon. In a first-person shooter, that's your star. That's the thing that you're seeing all the time. When it comes to other things, plasmids, things that are,
Tonics.
Tonics, yes, sorry. It's been a while.
Come on, Sean.
I know, it's 10 years. Those things were more offloaded to machines that you would then have to interact with, so you're not carrying the inventory around with you. But each of these decisions on how we're going to upgrade the player, it wasn't like a mouse and keyboard. Okay, we can just use the mouse, and you have all these buttons at your disposal.
You can arbitrarily point at a part of the screen really easily, which you could do in System Shock 2.
Yeah, so we certainly learned trial by fire when we were trying to adapt these things to the console at the time.
Yeah, and like having different ammo types and stuff like that. Like we went through numerous iterations of the interface to make it. Like we had the first times we sort of put the interface into play. It was very obtuse and very tricky to get your head around, and we just kept working on it and working on it and working on it because you want to feel like second nature. But we spent a lot of time on that.
What motivated the idea of having so much choice in the way you could sort of play through this game? What was it to give the player a better sense of authorship over the experience, or what was driving that?
I've always liked the idea of giving the player a lot of agency in terms of their play style and experimenting with the play style and trying different things and seeing what worked and didn't work and interacting with the environment. The notion that it's sort of a playground that you get to play around with and imprint your own desire on was great, because I think we were more skeptical about being able to do that with story at the time. In fact, so much to the point where that became almost like a joke. That becomes the meta joke of the game, of how little agency you have in your story. But agency in terms of how you play the experience and how you load out your weapons and how you interact with the environment, as compared to most shooters at the time, where basically like you can shoot them with the shotgun or shoot them with the the pistol. That was really important to us. So we spent a lot of time trying to make the world react in a way that you would expect and hope it to react when you tried something.
Right. And some of those system or decisions we made about systems fed back into the narrative, like locking Adam behind Big Daddy and the little sister. Like you can't get Adam unless you deal with the Big Daddy, which then becomes a roving boss fight, which then becomes another system that I don't know if we planned that from the start or was one of those happy, serendipity, like, oh, this decision that we made about putting Adam behind the Big Daddy totally works because now we have a different type of boss fight that you hadn't really seen in other games.
Actually, it was the other way, because what happened was originally there was no concept of Adam, and Big Daddy just had money and other treasure on them, like every other splicer.
Yeah.
And they were so tough, nobody would ever fight them, because why on earth would you go after that guy?
Right, go off a bunch of small splicers and get the same amount, yeah.
So we had to come up with a currency that was exclusive to them,
Yeah.
because we knew that was where the fun was, right? But we also knew people were terrified of them, and we didn't want to fight them.
Yeah.
So video game development and system development is a lot like economics, right? You know, in economics, you try to encourage certain behaviors through tax, usually through tax policy. You know, well, you want business growth, so you lower taxes on certain segments of the business economy, or you want to encourage, you know, people to move into this area, so you make incentives to move in here. We had to make an incentive for players to fight the Big Daddy, and Adam became that incentive. And then once you had this Adam, then you had a new piece of narrative, which they could then incorporate back into the story.
An old and tasty Adam fucking drink.
Stay away from her, or it is you who will be shot next.
Easy now, Doctor. He's just looking for a wee bit of Adam. Just enough to get by.
I'll not have him hurt my little ones.
Talk a bit about the plasmids and the vending machines and that sort of whole approach to, I guess, what is kind of a tech tree, but, you know, and coming from PC games, you know, used to strategy games and whatnot with very complicated ways of how you would upgrade things. I thought you guys had a really interesting approach to how you made it very accessible to a console audience. How did that evolve? Did you know the vending machines were going to be there from the get-go?
Well, we had vending machines in System Shock 2, so we were sort of lifting that, and I always thought that was a fun notion because it's a affordance that people already understand. You know, they see a vending machine, they know immediately, oh, that's where I buy stuff, right? Yeah. And you also then have to have a shopkeep. When we talked about wanting to make things, put limitations on ourselves so things felt fully believable. Yeah. If we had a shopkeeper sitting there, you can't shoot him. He sits there, he doesn't say anything. And all of a sudden he feels fake. Where a vending machine, the Circus of Values machine, can feel 100% authentic. You know, despite the fact that it's selling like ammo and stuff like that, you know, which is.
But in an objectivist society where you don't have rules and regulations on that type of thing, it feeds back into the narrative.
But you don't then break the fiction at all by having these characters who sort of don't really live and breathe in the world. So the vending machines became an important part of that, but we still want to give them character, and hence and so. That clown image came from a piece of, that image is actually from like a fruit container or something from like the 1940s. Okay. And so we had a book of like royalty-free images, and I saw that image, and I'm like, let's put that clown on it, and we'll call it Circus of Values. And then, you know, we wrote lines for it, decided he'd be this sort of asshole clown, and then we hired the best actor in the world to play that part. That's me. What I cost my biggest Avengers, I didn't cost anything.
I didn't know you were really.
I was a clown. Yeah, no, I was a clown.
I hear it in my head every day.
My wife hates that voice. She hates that voice.
You can give us a little of it right here.
Welcome to the Circus of Values. She does not allow me to do that, so I'll do it outside of the house. Okay. But it allowed us to have something that felt very rich and very
skip
real.
Skip it if you want. You can replay that anytime. Yeah, but I've never seen this. I'm enjoying it. I haven't fun with this.
And also, you know, the plasmids and sort of the motif of sort of the videos and how you explain sort of what a plasmid was, that was a really fun way, I thought, to sort of explain that. Sean, how did you guys evolve that? Because it was a very artistic approach.
I think those came on pretty late too, because we were developing all these systems, and you make the assumptions because you're dealing with them every day that the player who gets this game is going to understand what these systems are. And we always joke that you can't ship a developer with a game, or you can't expect somebody to have a README file for all of these things. Nobody's understanding what these plasmids are or how to use them. How do we present these to the audience in such a way that they're going to understand what it is fictionally and what it is functionally? Because Rob Waters did a lot of the animations on those, and we sit down and we write out like a little 30-second commercial of what this thing is. And again, because going back to the narrative, this is what would happen in Rapture. People are trying to sell these things, so they would come up with commercials to explain why you
cool.
Using that as
behind the
framework,
scenes,
you can then
like,
come up with all these
information on a game. I've always
gags
enjoyed
that people
like
remember
the scenes
that have a little personality to them. But I think ultimately, in the end, weren't that expensive to create because they're cheap.
I think one of the most important things about it is we didn't want them to be long, and we didn't have a lot of budget for the art, so we have like a couple of frames of animation in them essentially. And so we had to figure out how do we message how this thing works in like that. And And that's what marketing is, right? It's how do you message how something works. And marketing and tutorializing are very similar things, right? You're trying to get a message across in a very brief period of time in a very snappy fashion. And I think that one of the things that I always felt about games is that tutorials are sort of death. And because they're usually like, you go into a scene and there's like a shooting range or something like that, and
narratively they never really make sense either.
And they're so boring. And so we always try to put a big burden on ourselves of how do we train people while not letting them know they're being trained, and brevity is really important to that. So we had a bunch of art constraints in that, which also led to a bunch of writing constraints, and so those things were like, I don't even know if they were 30 seconds. They were really short. Yeah, 15 seconds long. We had to explain a whole plasmid in that period of time, and I think that was a good exercise because it also made the game, it forced us to be concise and to really explain what this thing was like that.
Throw objects at foes. You can even catch grenades and throw them back.
Alright, well that was fun. Back to the game.
You got it! Should be smooth sailing from here. I'll meet you up ahead.
We all come down here. Figured we'd all be part of Ryan's great chain. Turns out Ryan's chain is made of gold, and ours are the sort with the big iron ball around your ankle. He's up in Fort Frolic banging fashion models. We're down in this dump yanking guts out of fish. Fontaine's promising something better. He's like one of us, like he's worked a day in his life. He says meet him at his fish packing joint at 11. I'll go, bring a couple of guys. Hey, it's not like things could get a lot worse.
Hit the switch up there in the control booth and let me in. I think it's time to shake hands and get acquainted.
You've had your fun, but enough is enough. If you press that button, you'll learn what it means to truly be my enemy.
Give me a tick, and I'll get you out of there. Moira, can you hear me in there, darling?
If only your friend could look up and see. Maybe. If only anything. Except just stand here and watch her.
They're everywhere. I can't hold them. Got to fall back. Get me family out, and we'll regroup as soon as we can.
Hold it!
You ooze in like an assassin, and then you try to sneak out like a thief. You're no CIA spook. Who are you? Why have you come here? There's two ways to deal with a mystery. Uncover it, or eliminate it.
Get out! Get out and get to Arcadia! Jesus Christ!
The Irish pork pie offered me a deal. I flip him Fontaine and I walk out of here. That simple. How do I know that fat fuck isn't Fontaine's guy? How do I know they're not all Fontaine's guy? Fontaine's got Adam, and everybody wants it. Ryan's got a whole lot of talk and a nice suit. Even down here, any idiot can see which way the wind is blowing.
Alrighty guys, I'm going to end the stream here. I appreciate all of you guys for watching, especially you, Alex. Thank you for helping. Look forward to part 3 coming out soon. Have a great day. I'll see you guys next video or stream. Bye guys.